Well, the internet to me is the political equalizer of the age, because we who use the internet a whole lot, and the young people who like it and others, find out that they can get information that is unbiased. And evidently there's a lot of people in this country, and especially young people, who don't particularly like KN News coming from the major television networks.
With even election results becoming more and more questionable, the Constitution a thing to be manipulated, ignored, and frivolously amended, even democracy itself seems to be on the run. So where's the one place you can go and tell your version of the truth, rail against liars, fakes, and propagandists with your own unique propaganda, sign your name to it, and let the whole world know how you feel? That's right, the internet. Perhaps responsible for the most substantial shifts in culture in the last several decades. There's so much freedom and potential on the World Wide Web that one is barely able to get one's head around it. Who in their right mind would dare to regulate or charge websites to be on the internet? Who would dare to rain on a parade so fantastic that many of us would not know what to do without our high-speed connection and our lives on the internet? Actually, some very powerful forces. Telco companies want to make you pay for your site to be carried on the internet. If you can't afford to pay, guess what? That's right, your cyber history, pal. The Bush administration wants major internet and phone companies to keep track of where their customers surf, all in the name of the war on terror.
Comcast, Time Warner, others are doing it right here in Texas. Comcast is doing it in New York. The two major companies have announced 2 weeks ago in Canada that they're going to decide what sites you visit, and they're only going to allow a couple thousand sites. It's a consortium of private corporations, universities, and government, and DARPA, and other foreign governments that, quote, the internet is dead. And they say they're going to not fix the old hubs of the internet. They're going to let those degrade. They say that's their right to do that. They also want the authorization by the federal government and the FCC. That Comcast just got told Friday that they have to stop doing what they're doing, filtering out the majority of the web. And they are saying they're going to disregard the FCC. They don't have that regulatory power. So the web was built to be free and open. You pay for it with your websites you pay for. The people that are serving you pay for it with their servers and their bandwidth. You pay for it with your internet connection. We're getting more internet connectivity. We're getting more bandwidth, not less. They try to have Ted Stevens come out and say, oh, the pie's small. It's not getting bigger. We have to restrict it. Now he's indicted for all his crimes, and there's no alleging those. We need listeners to understand this is happening. This is coming down now. This has been declared. PrisonPlanet.com, Infowars.com, Infowars.net, JonesReport.com. These sites are scaring the globalists to death. They are shutting us down. They are censoring us everywhere. Appreciate our Google videos. Appreciate the YouTube videos. They're not going to be there forever, folks, if they're able to win. They're moving now. We better get the word out while we've still got some punch. You understand? You can forget Congress. You can forget the executive. It's all bought and paid for. We've got to take the country and the world back at the grassroots. They're moving to block us, and they're moving to block us because we are having an effect. Win Comcast and Time Warner and a few others, but they're together about half of the cable modem market. You can pull the numbers on that in the U.S. and Canada. When they're able to do that, that sets a precedent, and then all the other majors and then minors can implement that as well. You have to boycott and protest it and speak out against it early on. Now is the time. You see, we have to recognize we're as bad or worse than China, and now they've got congressional hearings talking about shutting down our free speech. We've got all the major pundits calling for my arrest for the things I say, because we're hurting these people, because we do have power, because of you, the listeners, taking action. We're walking point. We need your support. Google and YouTube, which, of course, YouTube's owned by Google, Yahoo and others, admittedly for close to 3 years, have been censoring things for the Communist Chinese government. Now they're using those same censor systems here in the United States, in Canada, in England, and there's a whole cocktail of other ways they're censoring. But again, the British government is censoring right now. They are censoring PrisonPlanet.com and our other family of websites because we're so effective. We pushed it out. Our listeners pushed it out. Got Keith Olbermann to cover last week the fact that Cheney was planning staged terror attacks and killing our own troops. This is important news. We're risking our lives. And for our safety, we need to continue to be prominent and more prominent. They're bringing in tyranny, ladies and gentlemen. The mainstream media is dying. They're panicking. The propaganda arms are losing all their credibility. So now they're engaging in communist Chinese-style Orwellian censorship.
So when I talk about freedom, and people know about the freedom of the internet, there must be a connection there. Oh, yeah, freedom of the internet. I can look and go here and pick this and talk to my friends and all this thing. So, and of course, I don't want to ever tax the internet, and I don't want to regulate the internet, and I want, that's one thing that really gives us a chance to combat this horrendous movement to big government.
How much do you want to bet they want the internet regulated, contained, and thrown into a cell at Guantanamo Bay? For a country that talks so much about freedom being on the march, seems to me that some people want anything but. If they come for your freedom, you must not only resist, you must strike back with a vengeance that will stun them. On this front, if your anger and outrage are not at the forefront, then you're already dead.
They are moving against us now. Everybody has to stick together, or we're all going to hang separate on this. They are moving against us because we're on the verge of exposing their state-sponsored terrorism, their fake global warming hype, their global taxes, all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening.